If you're watching this video, you probably have feet, and because you have feet, you've also worn shoes. Whether we're talking soccer cleats, running shoes, casual wear shoes, any kind of footwear at all, you've probably had a particular pair of shoes that caused you some kind of discomfort, be it minor discomfort from minor foot cramping, or even major discomfort, perhaps some pretty severe blisters. It's something that we've all dealt with on at least one pair of shoes. So what do you do in that situation? You either get used to the brand new shoes, you return them, or you get a brand new pair entirely that fits you more comfortably. What I would bet that none of you have ever done is gone and sued the company who makes the shoes for millions of dollars, like this guy. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com here today to talk to you about Fellaini, who plays for Manchester United as well as the Belgium national team, suing New Balance, a very well-known footwear brand, for £2.1 million, the equivalent of $2.75 million. An obscene amount of money for basically one particular reason. The boots he was being forced to wear from New Balance brand were causing his feet considerable damage and therefore negatively impacting performance, which is why he has launched this lawsuit. Will he win? What are the facts of the lawsuit? That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Also, if you guys enjoy the video, please don't forget to support it with a like. Before we get into the details of the lawsuit, I actually want to discuss the backstory because it's really important to note in regards to discussing what's happening right now. So, Fellaini back in 2012 signed a 4-year contract with the New Balance brand as an endorsed athlete. So he would be paid a considerable amount of money to obviously wear their product. How much money? £600,000 a year, the equivalent of about 800,000 US dollars per season, which is a crazy amount of money. And as far as we all know, I don't see any evidence out there or any kind of news that would suggest otherwise. Fellaini has been paid all the money that he was owed from this particular contract, and also he wore the proper boots throughout his entire contract time with no real public complaints whatsoever until now, which is obviously a year after the contract has ended. He's now wearing Nike products, if you were wondering. Not sure how much he's getting paid from Nike, likely not even close. However, when he first signed for New Balance in 2012, they weren't yet branded as New Balance. They were actually under the Warrior brand, which is a company that New Balance actually owns. So it was always New Balance from the start, but for basically the first 2.5 years of the contract, he wore Warrior brand, which eventually they decided was not going to do it for them, and they switched it back to New Balance because it was more well-known in the footwear industry. And that's when we got this guy right here, the New Balance Vizaro, which is the New Balance shoe that Fellaini wore throughout the majority of his time with the brand while they were called New Balance and not Warrior. Which brings us to present day. Fellaini is now suing New Balance for £2.1 million, which is more than the worth of his entire 4-year contract that he originally signed with New Balance in the first place. Pretty crazy. This is basically what he's claiming. At least this is public information. He's saying that the boots provided by New Balance were causing his feet considerable damage to the point where it has been detrimental to his ability to perform, therefore hurting his career, decreasing performance, and loss of pay because of that, which is partially what he's suing for, along with the damage to his feet. Now, they don't specify what exactly the damage is, and they also never use the word permanent, which leads me to believe that the damage caused to his feet was more than likely blisters, which blisters might not sound that bad, but I'm sure everybody that has experienced a bad blister, they know that it hurts a lot. And especially when you're talking about soccer cleats, football boots, it can really, really throw you off. You can play through it, absolutely, but it can be extremely painful, and you're definitely gonna notice it the entire time that you play. So from that perspective, I definitely do understand what he means. They also say in the lawsuit that Fellaini had to get the kit man, or basically the equipment manager, for those that don't know what a kit man is, to constantly steam and stretch the boots prior to him even being able to wear them. The reason why you would steam them is because steam is hot. That would heat up the upper and generally soften it up, which would make for less break-in time and just more comfort in general. And stretching the shoes, I thought that was really interesting because with professional players, with endorsement deals, this goes for any brand, they get custom-made pairs. So the shoes are essentially formed to the exact shape of their foot, a custom last, if you will, which is why this is really, really interesting. He's not just going to the New Balance store and buying the same cleats that we can actually buy. He's getting these custom made for himself, which is where this gets really interesting, because New Balance's counter to this, at least the only public counter argument that they've given so far, is that they have Fellaini on record saying that the boots that they've created for him are perfect, and he wants them to make him another 12 pairs so he has them ready for upcoming games and practices and whatever it may be. So that's really, really interesting, because basically Fellaini suing, saying that the shoes were killing his feet and therefore impacting his performance, and New Balance is saying, you're straight up lying. Who's telling the truth? Let's talk about that a little bit. This is getting heated. So the one thing that I think needs to be considered here is what specific shoe he's referring to, because I don't think he's referring to every single shoe he wore throughout his entire endorsement deal. He very well could be. That's not specified in the details that we have so far. But obviously throughout his 4-year time, new shoes would come out from Warrior as well as New Balance, and because you're an endorsed athlete, they want you wearing the latest products. As far as Warrior is concerned, there would have been 2 or 3 shoes that he could have gone through, all different variations of the Screamer. And then for New Balance, like I talked about, he pretty much spent the majority of his time wearing this guy right here, the New Balance Vazzaro, which is a shoe that I actually think is very, very good. However, when New Balance also launched, they came out with this guy right here, the New Balance Furon, which in my opinion is one of the worst high-end soccer cleats to come out in the last 10 years. It really is terrible, but as far as I know, Fellaini was never forced to wear this. He always wore the Vazzaro. And again, the shoes that he was given, which is specified by New Balance, were custom made for his feet. So basically how this would work is they would come to him or he would go to them, and they would essentially make a custom variation of the shoe. We've seen this from New Balance themselves as a public release in the form of a limited edition Aaron Ramsey shoe that was basically the custom version that he personally wears. Although it definitely is interesting that Aaron Ramsey himself just ended his contract with New Balance. It basically just expired. He switched to Adidas. I assume he took a lot less money, and it's entirely possible that he just didn't like the New Balance shoes. He's not suing New Balance, but it definitely is very interesting that there is this much drama around New Balance in terms of, I guess, negative performance and negative comfort and just general negativity around the brand all at the same time. But in my opinion, if you're asking me, I really don't think that Fellaini has too much to go off of here. Here's why. He ran out the entire course of his contract. He signed for 4 years, he wore the product for 4 years. And as far as I know, and I follow this scene pretty closely, there was no public drama. He didn't show up wearing Nike cleats or Adidas cleats in a game, not even in a practice, not even blacked out shoes from a different brand. He seemed to always be wearing the correct brand, which again, if the shoes were causing you that many problems and legitimately impacting performance to the point where you thought your career was going to suffer, you would probably do something about it, regardless of whether or not you had an endorsement deal. You could probably write an N on a blacked out shoe and get away with it for a game and then sort it out after the fact. But he never seemed to do that. So that again kind of points to the fact that he might just be lying here. I'm not accusing the guy of being a liar, but it seems really strange that no public drama would have occurred throughout 4 years of apparent terrible footwear for himself. And again, they're custom made. The point that New Balance has made is that they actually have him on record, and I definitely do believe them, that he got a custom pair, he called them perfect, and he ordered 12 more pairs. That seems like a logical thing that would happen in an endorsement deal type situation. So the fact that a full year after the contract is ended, now that he's wearing Nike shoes, obviously he seems to be very happy with them because he's not switching around in different brands. He would just sue New Balance kind of out of the blue. It seems really, really strange to me. So in my opinion, given what's out there right now as far as public information is concerned, there could be something behind the scenes that we don't know about from the Fellaini side of the lawsuit that could completely change my opinion on this. But in terms of what information is out there right now, I honestly don't think he has much of a case here. I don't see him winning this lawsuit. And if he did, based on this particular information, I'd be really, really surprised. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it in terms of what I think about this situation and all the facts that are out there right now. In my opinion, I don't think New Balance is making the greatest stuff. I don't think that they've ever really made the greatest top-end products out there when we're talking about soccer cleats specifically, but He's an endorsed athlete, he's being paid to wear the shoes, a really good amount of money, and he's getting custom versions of the shoe. So to sue him 1 year later after his contract has ended just seems really strange and somewhat silly at this point. But again, let me know your opinions. Do you think he has any chance? Is there anything else you'd like to add to the points that I shared in this video? And if you have any questions at all, leave that down below in the comments as well. I'll read everything you guys have to say and answer any questions that you might have. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear, including lawsuit news from time to time, like you saw today. All my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. As always, we'll see you in the next one. And thanks for watching. I meant to say thanks for watching before see you in the next one, but I screwed it up.